from KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
And we start tonight with the weather. We are done with the severe weather and large hail in our region. Let's send things on over to meteorologist Adam Caskey.
Yeah, Stephanie, we still have some areas of rain, especially east of San Antonio, moving through parts of Wilson County, Lavernia to Stockdale, right along 87, and then just east of Seguin along I-10. That's the last of it. Nothing severe, but we did have some very large hail in some parts of town, especially on the far northwest side. Check this out. Particularly right along and off of Bandera Road, give or take about 3 miles between 1604 and 410. That's almost 2-inch diameter hail. A typical egg is about 2 inches in diameter, and look at the comparison here. And another thing about this hail is I notice it's very clear in color. That to me illustrates stronger ice compared to other hail situations that we get. This is the wet growth of hail when you get the really clear color to it. Clear ice is stronger than cloudy ice. Sometimes we get hail of this size when it's cloudy ice. It breaks easier upon impact. I anticipate damage, of course, as a result of this stronger, more potent ice. And of course, of this size, that's a quarter. That's bigger than a quarter. And you put it even by the rulers. And this is on the northwest side. Here's a good one. Look at that. That's a quarter. Look at it. It's just as big. The hailstones are even bigger than that quarter. I'm going to show you the hail swath, the radar history of this storm, and talk about how much rain we got, along with more hail photos in just a bit. And of course, tomorrow and your weekend coming up.
Adam, thank you. For nearly 2 months, we have been telling you about the relationship between Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez and an Austin-based criminal justice reform group. Now, KSAT Investigates confirms that the Wren Collective was also behind a controversial policy in Portland, Oregon, that allowed arrested protesters to avoid being prosecuted. Dylan Collier takes us through the ongoing federal lawsuit that shines a light on the Wren Collective's role in the Pacific Northwest.
Following the May 2020 murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer, protests broke out across the nation. Perhaps most notably in Portland, Oregon, where clashes continued off and on throughout the summer and into the fall. Critics contend the social unrest was heightened by Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt's decision that August to announce a policy that his office would not prosecute protesters unless they were also accused of more serious crimes. Charges like assaulting a police officer would be subjected to a high level of scrutiny. Quote, consideration should be given to the chaos of a protesting environment. The policy did not retroactively apply to conservative activist Joey Gibson and a co-defendant, Russell Schultz, who were charged in 2019 with felony riot following a confrontation outside a Portland bar. After an Oregon judge dismissed the charges and criticized Schmidt for pursuing the case, Gibson and Schultz last year sued the DA and other law enforcement officials alleging malicious prosecution, that Schmidt had been apprised of their case after taking office and moved forward because of their political beliefs. The suit revealed the controversial protest policy had been provided to Schmidt in July 2020 by the Wren Collective. 18 days later, Schmidt announced his version publicly. An analysis by KSAT Investigates shows the two versions are nearly indistinguishable, minus a few stylistic changes made by the DA. The suit also referenced a June 2020 email from Wren founder Jessica Brand to Schmidt's private account to schedule a private call so that the substance of their communication would not be documented in writing. Brand telling KSAT in a statement this week, quote, anyone who tells you that public officials aren't receiving help from experts to fulfill their vision is lying to you. When it comes to public safety, for example, that help can come from the police union or an organization like Wren. I'm proud when leaders choose Wren. Brand's role in Portland is similar to what we've uncovered in Bexar County, providing policy to a district attorney around the time he first takes office.
Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt did not respond to an email seeking comment for this story. His protest policy led to hundreds of charges being dismissed in 2020, according to an analysis by an Oregon newspaper. Gibson and Schultz's lawsuit was dismissed last month and is now before the Federal Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Asked about Brand, their attorney described her to KSAT as a, quote, hidden hand here, going county to county, pushing these policies, and it's been done in secret, end quote. For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Now back here at home, a former elementary school teacher, this guy now in jail, accused of indecency with a child. Schertz police are telling us that 42-year-old Gabriel Cantu turned himself in this morning, and this was after a student made allegations against him. Cantu was a fourth-grade teacher at Schertz Elementary. Officials with the Schertz-Cibolo Universal City Independent School District say that the alleged incident happened last year, but they first learned about it just days ago. The district says it notified the parents who were most closely connected to that incident. As more parents started finding out about the arrest, understandably, they got worried.
I don't know what to say. I'm scared about my daughter. I always talk to her. And the good thing is she come back home and tell me what happened every day.
So as for Cantu, he no longer works with the district, but Schertz police are looking into whether there are other victims. If you know anything, call the number that you see on your screen. It's 210-619-1200. Now, over in Live Oak, a scary scene played out this morning. Police are saying that two minors, allegedly in a stolen car, tried to take them on, and it all came to a head near I-35 and Loop 1604. So according to Live Oak police, an officer saw a suspicious car, and when the officer tried pulling the driver over, that person didn't stop. Then the officer got out of his unit, but says the driver of the other car then tried to hit him. The officer says that's when he fired shots and hit the driver. Both people inside the stolen car were treated for their injuries. Police say that they also found a handgun inside of that vehicle. Now we want to show you someone. This is 28-year-old DeAndre Nelson. Police arrested him after two people robbed an armored truck crew at gunpoint yesterday. We told you about this. Happened on Austin Highway near Harry Wurzbach. Officers tell us that two people pointed guns at the crew and then forced them to get on the ground. Police arrested Nelson today. They say that he was on social media bragging about going to a casino to spend a lot of money. Right now, investigators are looking for the second suspect in the case.
He'd taken the dog out for a walk. The dog made it back to the apartment, but he did not.
You know, it's been 3 long weeks and there's still no sign of this young man from New Braunfels. 21-year-old Caleb Harris is a student over at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but no one's seen him since March 4th. But as you can see, the search efforts to find him, they have not slowed down. We want to show you video of people looking for Caleb near his Corpus Christi apartment. It's a large area. Police have searched hundreds of acres. They've interviewed his roommates, friends, and family. Today, we spoke with Caleb's parents, who have not given up hope that their son's going to be found. Now, we asked his mom what she would say to Caleb if she saw him right now. This was her message.
That we love him and that he needs to do everything he can do to fight to get out of the situation he's in and come home.
Now, Caleb's parents are offering a $25,000 reward for any information that helps to bring their son home. So here's where you come in. If you happen to know anything about this, you can call Corpus Christi Police. The number's 361-886-2600. 5.5 years ago, you, the voters, put a cap on the city manager's pay and also how long they can stay in that top unelected city job. But now, a commission to review the city charter is considering a complete 180. City Hall reporter Garrett Berger was there as the group discussed putting the city manager's pay back in the hands of city council.
Back in 2018, San Antonio's fire union was engaged in a bitter contract battle with the city and pushed for a trio of charter changes, including chaining city manager pay to no more than 10 times the lowest paid city employee and only allowing them to stay on for 8 years. Voters agreed. But a subcommittee of the mayor's Charter Review Commission thinks it's time to scrap both caps.
We think what has changed is having a new city manager that is conducting things differently. Some may say better, some may say worse.
The 2018 change was widely seen as a referendum on former city manager Cheryl Scully, a polarizing figure with a $475,000 salary. But the change didn't affect her. It does, however, affect current city manager Eric Walsh, whose salary is currently capped at $374,000, and it will need to step down in 3 years after decades with the city.
At some point in the city's future, we're going to have a time when we're not going to have luxury of inheriting somebody like Eric Walsh.
The subcommittee looked at 15 cities in and outside of Texas and found city managers in places like Dallas, Fort Worth, Phoenix, and Charlotte earn more, while those in cities like Austin, Laredo, and Oklahoma City get less.
Our city manager is not competitively paid.
Removing the caps got a thumbs up from one of the local chambers of commerce.
Moreover, offering competitive compensation is crucial to attracting top-tier talent, capable of steering our city through its intricate government landscape.
While others think voters' 2018 decision should stand.
Does the mayor not trust us to make the right decisions for our city? Seems so. We should reject this.
This is just the initial recommendation. The final one isn't due for almost 3 months, and City Council would still have to act to put this onto the ballot, where San Antonio voters will still have the final say. I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Coming up, we want you to stick around for this because we're going to take you to one part of town where neighbors are extra neighborly. Seriously, they watch out for each other. They go above and beyond to keep each other safe. As part of our series, Know My Neighborhood, you're going to have a special look at the Northern Hills area. It's after the break. These are the kinds of people you really want to share your neighborhood with. In one San Antonio area, people really watch out for each other. They look for ways to prevent crime around the neighborhood. And when something happens, they're there for their friends. Our Daniela Ibarra takes us to the Northern Hills area, where neighbors are very neighborly.
Walking around Northern Hills is peaceful. You can't even tell it's right by some of San Antonio's busiest roads, which is why Shirley Sturgeon loves living here.
Very quiet, very nice, because it's mostly retired people.
The quiet has kept Calvin Ingram in his home for 40 years.
And the neighborhood is a friendly neighborhood.
Even then, Northern Hills is not immune from crime. The biggest one that San Antonio police says they hear of are property crimes, like car break-ins. Ingram says someone rummaged through his cars parked in his driveway.
We forgot to lock the vehicles.
Nothing valuable was taken except Ingram's sense of security.
Well, you feel violated. You feel violated. I mean, that's the only way I can put it, you know. But
Safe Officer Gregory Warrington says in the last month, San Antonio police investigated 6 car break-ins in Northern Hills. He says that number is low and encourages all victims to file reports.
And it just helps us to, again, prosecute and get those individuals off the street.
Even if it's something as minor as just shuffling through papers in your car.
Yeah, again, because somebody is going onto your private property, entering into your vehicle, that is a crime, right? So make sure to report it.
Twice a month, David Hadley patrols the neighborhood.
You know, you just never know what you might stumble across next.
He's a citizen on patrol. It's SAPD's Community Crime Watch program. That program could help that neighborhood with things like car burglaries because they know what to look for, right?
Right. They can better identify potential issues. They can educate their neighbors about, hey, this action that you're doing or the way that you're handling this might not be the best way to do it.
Sometimes we'll be riding around and there'll be a window down. Well, that's not too good, so you just go knock on the door and tell them.
It's a simple but meaningful gesture.
The neighbors do look out for each other, which is helpful.
Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
Come on, who doesn't want those neighbors? By the way, I hope that if you're joining us right now that you're safe, that you didn't get a lot of damage tonight. Some people did. And if you're just joining us right now, I learned something a few minutes ago that the clear hail, you were saying, that does a lot more damage than the cloudy hail.
It can be more damaging of cloudy hail of the same size because the cloudy hail is weaker. It's not as strong. The ice isn't as strong and sturdy. And so sometimes you can have large hail, 1 inch to 2 inches diameter. That's the cloudy hail, and it's not as damaging as what we saw tonight, which I think will definitely leave a path of damage across parts of our city. Speaking of that, let's take a look at Authority radar, and here's our 3D view of the thunderstorm as it moved through the northwest side of town. We'll play that for you all the way into downtown. I'll play it for you a few times just to take a look at this, and you see that big purple plume. That purple plume is the hail core that moved across. Now here's more of a 2D view of it. And you look at this over the past few hours and you see where the hail swath went across from the far northwest side, Bandera Road, 1604, all the way toward downtown and then toward about Highway 87 and 1604. So that's the large hail, and it was very large in many cases. Let's get right to our authority radar before we show you some of the examples of the hail out there. And the threat has passed. That's the good news. The threat has passed. That thunderstorm is out of here, and it has significantly weakened. There's still a little bit of a light show out near Gonzales and some heavy rainfall. This may be loud and lit up, but it's not damaging. That's some heavy rain that's moving along I-10, headed toward Moulton, Shiner, Gonzales, maybe just clipping Hallettsville. But that's all we have to speak of. No more development on the backside. We are done with the rain for several days now. Next chance comes early on Monday. But let's take a look at the rainfall totals over the past 24 hours. Now, this does include, of course, the rainfall that we had earlier this morning. And as usual, feast or famine, right? You go off to the east, Hallettsville, rain gauge reports of over an inch. And you look at just the radar estimates, 1.4, 1.6. Let's go eastward into parts of San Antonio. Far north side, not a whole lot, but down near Elmendorf, just south of Elmendorf, right along the Wilson County line, 2 inches estimated by Doppler radar. So the haves and have-nots, most of it was east of I-35 in terms of the heavy rainfall. Then you get northward. The green indicates at least ½ inch of rain estimated by Doppler radar. Here's a look at some of that large hail. And we went through some of these photos earlier, but I really want to stress that this is that clear type of hail, the clear type of clear ice, I should say, the wet process of developing hail, which can make more sturdier hailstones, stronger in terms of they don't break and shatter as quickly or as easily upon impact. And there's a comparison with an egg. Look, that's a quarter right there. That is a quarter. And look, I'll just put my fingers the size of that quarter. These are about twice the size of that quarter. So unfortunately, I think a lot of us will be finding damage in the morning along basically 1604 to 410 along Highway 16 and even into downtown Woodlawn Lake area. We saw some of that large hail through to tonight. Now the focus shifts to fog in the morning. We'll still have some problems for the morning commute, but it's not going to be rain and not going to be storms. Reduced visibility through 10 a.m. Visibility is under ½ a mile. Then it's a bright, sunny, beautiful day tomorrow. We'll start off with that fog at 56. By noon, sunny and 72, 82 the high. Light north wind at 5 to 10, low humidity. These are the kind of days we earned, right? And during last summer. This weekend, beautiful. 50s in the mornings, 70s in the afternoons. A lot of sunshine Saturday. Morning fog on Palm Sunday, and then mainly gray. Early next week, still in the 70s, but we could have a few isolated showers or storms Monday and Tuesday. Right now, only a 20 to 30% chance. It's nice to see this view of live cam. The roads are wet, so we had some rain, about ½ an inch here at the medical center area and Balcones Heights, but the storms have moved on. Now we just have the dampness and fog to deal with.
Okay, thank you, Adam. So all of that aside, it's an exciting night for UTSA women's basketball.
Yes, they had their first ever postseason tournament win for the program. That's just an incredible accomplishment. They did it in the WNIT bracket, and we're talking all things March Madness beyond that. Plus, the San Antonio Sports All-Star basketball game is this Sunday. We're introducing you to the final round of All-Stars coming up.
I really like the connection they build with me more than any other college that tried to recruit me. And the program is really good. I'm so glad I picked them.
Another local star is staying home. UTSA earns Brennan's Taylor Ross's commitment to the women's basketball program. Exciting times for the Roadrunners in big board sports. It's tournament time in the Convo. The UTSA women's basketball team making its WNIT debut with Northern Colorado in town. Asia Proctor, the freshman out of Clemens, nails the early three to give UTSA the lead. Second quarter, Northern Colorado up by 1 now until Jordan Jenkins gets a wide open look and drains the three. Jenkins dropped 27 points when it was all said and done. Now it's Haley Atwood. She sees it all the way through, the steal and score, and UTSA rolls to an 80-62 win. Wyoming is next for the Roadrunners Sunday at 2. March Madness is off to a magical start for San Marcos native Jamil Kofer. Yesterday, Kofer made the game-tying layup for Grambling State that sent his team into overtime versus Montana State, where they eventually won and secured a spot in the first round of the NCAA tournament, where they'll next play 1 seed Purdue. And because of his OT heroics, Buffalo Wild Wings signed Kofer to an NIL deal. All right, more scores around the tournament. Here's a live scoring update in the South region. Texas Tech trails NC State 37-33 at halftime. Texas beats Colorado State 56-44 in the Midwest region. The Longhorns will play either Tennessee or St. Peter's, but right now it's looking like that'll be Tennessee. Duquesne upset BYU in the East region. First ever tournament win for the Dukes. And an even bigger upset, Kentucky falls to Oakland 80-76.
Very important, and the whole focus is on winning these games, and I think we've had our ups and downs in the season, but we know each other way better today, so it all comes down to all of our personal efforts to make this work, but it's going to work.
Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs making it very clear their objective is to win their final 13 games of the season. Tomorrow they'll host Memphis, who is also eliminated from playoff contention. Tip-off is at 7. All right, this Sunday, 120 of the top high school basketball players in the area will take the hardwood at Northside Sports Gym for the first ever San Antonio Sports All-Star basketball game. With that, we have one final group to introduce you to. You'll see these players wearing gold jerseys representing Castle Hills Baptist, TMI, Central Catholic, John Paul II, and St. Anthony High Schools. The All-Stars say they're excited to grow from this opportunity.
It just means everything to me. I feel like I've put in a lot of hard work over the years, and so to get this opportunity, it's just a really big honor, and I hope I can make my family and my teammates proud.
I hope to grow from this experience by getting an opportunity to play with, other great guys in this area, and, just seeing how they operate in the game.
Just having fun, really, and being part of having different teammates around the city.
The talent is amazing here. It's underrated for sure, and more people should look out for it.
It's a great feeling to come out and represent my school, and I wouldn't be here without all the players and coaches.
Well, one of those coaches is former Spurs coach Bruce Bowen out of TMI. He had his all-star group running sprints yesterday. His son Ohani Bowen shared insight on his dad's coaching style.
I feel like a lot of people don't really like the way he coaches because, he's just so into the game and he loves the game so much that he just wants to get the most out of us and everyone on the team. So, but hopefully as players we know that, he wants us to get better and that he's just pushing us to go harder and be better.
That's too good. All right, after the break, SAFC is eyeing their first win of the season. Unlike San Antonio FC's season opener, where they gave up a lead late, allowing Loudoun United FC to come back into the game to force a draw, last week the club trailed by 2 goals before rallying to salvage a tie. SAFC said it was proud of the resilience it showed to steal a point in Tampa, and forward Cameron Lacey calling the effort a moral victory.
I feel like it was a moral win. It's a point is better than 0 points. So I feel like it was a moral win, but we know in ourselves that when we attack every game, we want to win fully, get 3 points. So I feel like it was a small victory, and small victories add up. So a small victory make a big victory.
Colorado Springs this Saturday. Hopefully they can get the win.
Small victories add up.
Yeah.
Remember that. Thank you. We'll be right back after this. We got through the night. Severe weather is over. Sleep sweet. We'll see you tomorrow.